We have arrived in the small village of Tam Coc in Ninh Binh. We decided to rent a motorbike for half a day and we're going to go explore around this area. There's pretty much only two transportation options in Ninh Binh, a bicycle or a motorcycle. It's not really a walkable place, and there are barely any taxis or even e-hailing cars like Grab. Luckily, most hotels offer bike rental services. Since it's already the afternoon, our motorcycle rental for half a day was 75,000 dong, less than $3. For our first stop here in Ninh Binh, we made our way to the Bich Dong Pagoda. The name literally means the Jade Grotto Pagoda, and it's built onto the side of these gorgeous limestone mountains. There's actually 3 layers to this complex, one at the bottom of the hill, one by a small cave in the middle of the mountain, and one at the top. We're gonna hike up to a little cave on top, but I mean, in this 35-degree Vietnamese weather, it's super tiring. I'm not sure if you can hear, but there's this high-pitched screeching sound in the background. You can't really see them because it's a bit too dark, but there are thousands of bats inside this cave. This sound is very unsettling. I wonder why it's so common for people to build temples or religious sites inside caves. But whatever the reason, with the light peering through the opening, it's very pretty. The walk to the very top is not that long, but in this heat, I'm already soaking in my own sweat. I don't know how we're gonna hike up to the dragon steps later.
这些寺变得非常的隐蔽，我觉得在古代就像那种修仙高人会来的寺庙。
You know what's scarier than the bats inside the cave? This thing right here. I can't even stand looking at it. I'm gonna blur it out.
游这个名山大川呢，必然有到此一游的游记啦，所以就在我们刚爬山的这个位置，就已经发现了有一篇游记，是一位举人来游玩壁洞寺所题的这一篇小诗词，挺有意思的，而且它是中文。华洞千重夏，菩提万仞春。
And it just so happens there's a film crew over here filming some sort of martial arts. A beautiful start to our Ninh Binh trip, but now it's time to head to one of the main attractions. A tip when visiting Bich Dong Pagoda is to look for one of these free parking signs. That parking lot by the entrance tried to scam us for 50,000 dong. But we were warned that paid motorcycle parking in Ninh Binh should be at most 20,000 dong, usually less. So just be aware. Okay, let's get back on the road. Riding on these winding country roads with mountains on both sides, this view is already so beautiful. After a couple of minutes, we arrived at the Mua Caves area and the iconic Lion Dragon Mountain. Entry cost 100,000 dong per person, cash only, and motorcycle parking cost 10,000 dong. While this area is named after the cave system, most people come here for the hike.
You see over there the hill we're about to go climb. I'm not sure if it's the weather, the humidity, the fact that I haven't exercised in such a long time, or all of those above. We're not even 1/4 of the way there and I already feel like I'm dying. My fitness level really is going downhill.
我们带了3瓶水上来，还有冰纸巾，同时背着相机。这个山乍一看并不是特别的高，看起来近在咫尺，但在这么湿热的气候里，完全就像一个不可逾越的天堑一样。
After a huge struggle, we made our way up to the viewpoint. Even though it is tiring, I think the views are worth it. We've reached one of the 2 peaks on this mountain. This one is the higher peak, so I think the toughest part of this journey should be done. And then later on, we're gonna go back down to the lower peak. We're here just in time for sunset, so I think the temperature is a bit lower than middle of the day. So this isn't even the toughest time to come up here.
在地平面看，其实并没有很强烈的感觉，但是到了一定的高度，这些石灰岩塑造的喀斯特地貌，还有江水从中间流过，一下就觉得一切的辛苦都是值得的。
I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this is the most beautiful view in Vietnam I've seen.
Before the sun completely sets, we're gonna go back down a little and hike up the other peak.
Finally made our way up to the second peak, the slightly lower peak. We can see the sun over there just dip below the mountain. This really is the perfect time to come up. Maybe because we experienced the toughest one already, the second peak feels a bit easier.
村里的房子很多都已经烧起了炊烟，夕阳西下时候，宁平这边还是很惬意的田园风景。
I could sit up here all day, but it's going to get too dark soon, so we have to make our way back down before it becomes pitch black.
Just as we're about to leave, Ninh Binh gave us one last surprise. It honestly feels like we did so many things today and we finally sat down at a restaurant for dinner. Even though it's tiring, it's much less tiring than if you take a day trip over here to Ninh Binh. Many of the day trips you can book, you do the boat tour, you do the hike, cycling, lots of activities all cramped into one day. I don't think I will be able to do that. Just the hike itself already made the two of us extremely tired and exhausted. So yeah, I highly recommend if you do come to Ninh Binh, stay overnight so you can spread out your activities.
Thank you, cảm ơn.
For dinner today, we're at this small eatery called Tam Coc Kitchen, and we ordered 2 bowls of pho. I feel like the pho here is not like the pho ga, pho bo you will find in Hanoi. Yes, it is chicken and pho, but it feels more like a home-cooked meal. And we also got some fresh juices. I got an orange juice and Rika got a watermelon juice. Cheers. That's the good stuff. Day 2 here in Ninh Binh, and we're once again renting a motorcycle to go explore the area. Honestly, the route we did yesterday was possible with bicycle as well. Today we're gonna go take the boat tour, we're gonna go to the Old Town. Those are all like more than 10 kilometers away, so I do highly recommend getting a motorcycle. We were riding the motorcycle to our destination and we were trying to find something to eat for lunch. It turns out almost every single store is either shut or looks like they're shut. It's around 1 p.m. right now, which is sort of still mealtime. I don't know why it seems like all the restaurants are shut. It's probably because it's too hot. In the evening, all these neighborhoods, all these little towns are super lively. We have now arrived at the Trang An boat tour. It's gonna be, I think, around 2 hours. There's 3 routes you can choose from, and you go to different temples, different caves. They suggested the 3rd route, Route C.
The ride is 4 people per boat, so if you're a couple, you will have to share with other visitors.
We have made our way onto the little boat and the journey has begun. The harsh sunlight is still pretty brutal right now. At least they prepared some umbrellas for us.
这个小船就在这个江上慢慢悠悠地游荡，可以理解为什么这个航程会这么久了。我感觉我已经好久没有坐过这种在江上的小船了，我只记得我小时候去漓江、桂林坐船的这个印象。
Trang An is a UNESCO World Cultural and Natural Heritage Site, the first destination with a mixed classification in Southeast Asia. I like that the boats here are not motorized, so all we hear are the sounds of the water and the insects in the distance, just the natural soundscape. And this is not a guided tour, so we can truly spend the 2 hours completely immersed in this otherworldly landscape.
Much better?
Exactly.
As for the cultural elements, after around a 20-minute boat ride, we are here at our first temple. The temples in Trang An date back to as early as the Ding and Lei dynasties, when the capital was here in Hoa Lu, Ninh Binh Province.
其实我觉得越南这些比较老的建筑，它的建筑语言或者是宗教语言是很方便我们理解的，能看出来它受到了很多中华文化的影响。
My favorite details in the temple are the dragon and phoenix sculptures on the roofs. This pairing represents a balance of power and virtue. The temples along the trip are just very short stops. But now it's time for one of the main highlights, Dog Cave.
突然关灯。
It was raining a lot in Vietnam during the past few days, so the water level is very high. It feels like we can touch the ceiling. And most of the time we have to duck our bodies down, otherwise it will hit our heads. There's water dripping everywhere in here. We need the umbrella outside and we need the umbrella inside as well.
这里真的让我想起那个纪录片，一个泰国洞穴救援的故事。如果困在这样的地方，还面临水位不断上升的情况，真的会刺激出人的幽闭恐惧症吧。
We can finally see a little bit of the outside world.
We just exited that cave system. I've been to many caves before, but that one just went on and on forever. I don't think I've been to one that's that long and that low before. Here we are going into another cave.
400 meters.
Is that what it says?
我觉得他们应该是担心你坐久了坐无聊了，所以也给了你一个小桨板，让你可以在这儿划点小船。虽然我当然是帮不上真正的划船的大姐什么忙了，我更像是 Mario Party 里面那个捣乱的猪队友，但是自己划一下还是挺好玩的，有一种无意义的好玩。
Are we going any faster? I honestly don't think so. It does feel like we're flat out already. It's another island. Probably for us to stand up for a while again. After the two cave systems, we reached another small temple. This one's either on an island or maybe a peninsula. It's actually very beautiful with the light peering through these branches. I think it's nice that they have these temples where we can get up and walk around in the middle of the ride. And I guess it also gives the rowers a chance to rest as well.
"现在是下午4点多了，光线也变得更加柔和了一点。目前为止，我觉得这趟行程还蛮充实的。
Now we've reached arguably the most iconic spot on the entire boat tour. You can see all the boats circling around it to take pictures. We're gonna get back on our boat and go around there later as well.
It turns out that while water pavilions or stages are very traditional buildings, this one, known as the Trang An Water Pavilion, is not actually a historical landmark. It was built here to enhance the surroundings. Surrounded by the gorgeous limestone mountains, it does not feel out of place and still has an elegant presence.
I think by now we're reaching the end of this little boat tour. This whole journey is very long, maybe like 2 to 3 hours.
We stopped by a total of 3 temples and 3 caves. This really is the perfect place to enjoy the breathtaking scenery and learn about ancient Vietnam, all within one trip. There's also another boat tour in Tam Coc, but I heard that one is shorter and not nearly as beautiful. If you only have time for one activity in Ninh Binh, you have to come visit Trang An.
So that is it for our excursion here at Trang An. We bought the ticket at 2:45 today, and we arrived back at the ticket office at 6 p.m. So yeah, highly worth it. And a huge thank you to the aunties rowing the boat for us. They have such a tough job, especially in this heat.
Now it's time to head to Hoa Lu for some dinner.
We have reached the city center, and for dinner tonight we're going to eat something that finally doesn't look like a home-cooked meal. We're going to have banh mi chao, which is basically a hot plate with the banh mi next to it. And you're supposed to dip the bread inside the sauce. We had this one before in Dalat, and we really liked it, so now we're going to have it again here. We got all sorts of meat on this plate. Pate, sausages, ham, I think a meatloaf type of thing.
If you like the sandwich type of banh mi, I highly recommend trying the hot pan banh mi. The bread is literally a sponge soaking up that delicious black pepper sauce. And even with the sauce, the outer skin is still ultra crispy. I guess you can also wrap it up like a sandwich if you want.
After dinner, of course, it's time for dessert. We're here at a ches shop right nearby the banh mi shop. The good thing about the city center is that there's so many food options. I got an avocado che and Rika got a coconut che. Eating an ice cold dessert on a hot day, it's the best.
And finally, our last stop of the day, Hoa Lu Old Town.
This place definitely really reminds me of Hoi An in central Vietnam, with all the beautiful lanterns and the little boats that you can take. Since we went on such a long boat ride already today, we're gonna skip the little boats.
While Hoa Lu was the ancient capital of Vietnam, the actual capital site is around 10 kilometers west of here, and unfortunately we didn't get a chance to visit on this trip. The old town we're at right now was opened a few years ago and built in the style of the ancient Ding and Lei dynasties.
这个古城我觉得晚上来更好看，能看到它灯火辉煌，火树银花，就是亮晶晶的样子。这里有非常多的灯，晚上这边还是相当热闹。在岸旁边有开了很多酒吧呀、餐厅啊，都有非常好的景色。
The two towers here are both temples, and many locals just come here to relax by the lake.
Even though this is just a touristy site and not a real old town, at least visually speaking, the ambience is still amazing. But I have to say, there is one big issue.
Visually speaking, this place really is very elegant, but for some reason the bars are playing super loud music, kind of destroying the atmosphere a bit.
So, dear Ninh Binh, if the tranquil ancient vibe is what you're going for, maybe turn off the EDM. Okay, I'm gonna bring back the piano. If you're staying in Tam Coc, which I guess most tourists are, and want a place to go in the evening away from the small village, Hoa Lu Old Town is still a vibrant area to walk around, get some dinner, or maybe some drinks. If you don't like this type of environment, of course you can just stay in Tam Coc and enjoy the peace and quiet. And that's exactly what we're gonna do tomorrow.
Today is our last day here in Ninh Binh and Tam Coc. We decided to take it easy today after having so many activities in the previous 2 days. Today we rented 2 bicycles to cycle around this area. We rented a motorcycle. It just seems like we're rushing on the road, so a bicycle is definitely more chill. Our first stop today, we're here at this lakeside cafe. We got 2 smoothies. We're gonna sit here for a while and then go explore around the area when it's not too hot.
The boats you see right here are from the Tam Coc boat tour. The boarding point is right in the town area. But again, if you can make your way over to Trang An, I highly recommend going on that one instead.
I feel like other than the traditional sites you're going to explore here in Ninh Binh, another very fun activity is just to cycle around randomly without any sort of destination in mind. There's so many little paths, little alleyways around this area. Look at all this vast greenery behind me. A great thing about cycling is that I can go to places that motorbikes and cars cannot go to. For example, this pathway right here.
这里还有很大一片的荷塘，虽然现在荷花跟莲蓬已经都被采摘的差不多了，只剩几朵孤零零的花骨朵了。其实荷花对于我本人也有蛮重要的意义的，因为我的名字里就有“荷”这个字。我想这应该就是我爸妈对于夏天最浓烈、最深刻的印象了吧。下雨啦！我感觉到雨滴啦。
Even though rain cut our day short, Ninh Binh has already become my favorite place in Vietnam. Some people call it the Halong Bay on land because of the similar karst formations. But having been to both, if I had to choose just one to recommend, I think Ninh Binh is better in every single way. There's no need to pretend Ninh Binh is a hidden gem. It's clearly a popular destination, but at the same time, it does not feel flooded with tourists. While you're not in the ocean like Halong Bay, the rivers and lakes here still offer the same refreshing calmness. You have the space to truly immerse yourself in the lush green nature, the serene caves, and the quiet rural atmosphere. I hope you also get the chance to experience this magnificent part of Vietnam.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below what is your favorite place to visit in Vietnam. To all my new viewers, please subscribe to JHMedium for more travel videos coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.